Correct.
That is the issue. Please don't mix the issues. And so if the child is playing with dolls, she would only be allowed to play with dolls if she was pre-pubescent. She would not be allowed to play with dolls after she had hit puberty, etc. And so what you're talking about, you're looking at the past with the lens of today, but that's not the issue. The
Right.
issue is, how did Muhammad view Aisha playing with dolls? He viewed that as a child. How did Aisha's mother, how did Aisha's father, who I think it was Abu Bakr, wasn't it?
Correct. In
How
fact,
did Aisha's father?
he didn't want to marry his daughter off to Muhammad. He actually did not want to. Um,
Yeah.
so
So how did Muhammad, Abu Bakr, the father of Aisha, view a child playing with dolls?
he
That this
says
child is pre-pubescent.
he actually
And
said,
so for him, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, in
Sorry.
Sahih Bukhari 762:18 it says narrated Ursa, the Prophet asked. So Aisha was Muhammad's foster niece, by the way. And it says here the Prophet asked Abu Bakr for Aisha's hand in marriage. Abu Bakr said, "But I'm your brother." So in other words, he resisted. And the Prophet said, "You're my brother in Allah's religion and His book, but
Yeah,
Aisha
and
is
how we
lawful
are
for me to marry."
interpreting that he resisted is by Abu Bakr recording and writing the word but. No, sorry, he didn't write the word. Sahih Bukhari recording the word but. The word but is an important word for us to understand that that is a resistant word.
Yes. And he says,
Why
"But
don't
I'm your
you
brother."
have food? But I don't want to because I am hungry. But please understand that. Anyways, let's go on.
Right, so understand. So he actually did not want this to occur. Now I'll go on to, again, the case in which the marriage of infants continues to be binding even after
Yeah.
puberty. That's on this side on the right here. If the marriage of infants is contracted by the fathers or grandfathers, the marriage is binding upon the parties, the same as if they themselves entered into it after maturity. In other words, we have a marriage prior to puberty, right?
Yeah.
And of course, Islam is always happy to let us know that a woman is deficient in judgment, just so by the way. And of course, you can marry your female slave to any person, just out of sheer interest in the book of marriage. Now, if a girl has been contracted in marriage before she attains maturity, and then they distinguish between after maturity, I'll just do a couple of references. If a father should contract in marriage, his infant daughter or his infant son, this is legal because the authority to contract
Yeah.
infants in marriage is founded upon the supposition of their regard for the interest of those infants. So, in the interest of the infants, you can marry the infant off, which is insane. And
Yeah.
here it says, bail is in like manner approved if your wife is an infant. If your wife is an infant. And of course, a youth under puberty is the same as a full grown man, and he may marry. Now, a woman, so here we talk about a woman marries a man, he divorces her with an irrevocable divorce, 3 talaqs. Now they want to return to each other as husband and wife, but now there have been 3 divorces. She can now marry an underage boy. She can marry an underaged child, a prepubescent child. He can have sex with her. He can then divorce her, and she can then return to her first husband and marry him again. So they speak of
Whoa,
marry
whoa,
with the
whoa.
youth under maturity. He can then
A
perform
youth.
under
Okay, now I
maturity.
think that this is very important for all our viewers to read with us, right? Let's read all together. A youth under puberty is the same as a full grown man. A youth under puberty is the same as a full grown man with respect to legalizing the marriage. That is to say, if a man give his wife 3 divorces, right, under puberty or full grown, if he divorces his wife, and the after her edith, I don't know what that means, marry with her under maturity, and he perform the carnal act
With
with
her.
her.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, my
Now it
Muslim
says
friends.
here
Now,
a boy.
you can either
Next
do, you
sentence.
can do one of two things. You can do one of two things. You can you can either say no, you reject the Sharia law, your Sharia law. You say that no, that is not true. This is all nonsense. You can say that, Or you can say, you can close your eyes to what we just read, or you can read it and, like some very, I must say, how can I say, honest Muslims who accept this and say, yeah, that's who we are all about, and then that's where the appreciation comes from, is that, oh, you agree to this and you don't see any problem with that. If you see a problem with child marriage and you read these sources with us, then you're disagreeing with your own Islamic Sharia law. That at that stage, then
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're a Muslim. I'm not sure what you would think, but at that stage, you would have to see whether you accept these sources or not at all. So
And they
that's
speak of a
just to
boy.
throw in with you.
Yeah, they speak of a boy under puberty able to perform the carnal embrace. Now, also
There
in
we
reference.
go. Page 303. A boy under puberty, but who is such as to be able to perform the carnal embrace, is termed murabik. I have no idea what
Yeah,
that
yeah,
means,
who knows? It's
but
an Islamic term.
I I don't understand murabik, but I understand carnal embrace
Yes.
and under puberty.
Now, of
That's
course,
just common English.
on your
Yeah, go
channel,
ahead.
as we've got going here, these Muslims obviously. Now, in the Islamic texts, Jesus was born of the Virgin Mary. There was a virgin birth. Can Usman Mansur and Qasim Mansur please tell me how old Mary was in the Islamic text? Can you please tell me the age of Mary, who gave birth to Jesus, in the Islamic text? Because apparently it's not good in the Christian text, but you accept it and it's found within the Islamic scriptures. So how old was she, and is it bad in Christianity but good in Islam that you tell the very same story? I'd like you to explain that contradiction. And of course, Joseph is not the example for all mankind. Muhammad is. Now again, answer my question. If Muhammad wants to marry your 9-year-old daughter, will you give her to him? Right, so let me continue. So I'm going to continue here with a couple more references, right? And then I'm going to talk about puberty briefly. And okay, so then, and the final, right, so, and then of course,
You see, I do want to, like, just put out a disclaimer again for my viewers and your viewers.